Good evening. This is Dennis Wong from Sinan Nutritional and Sinan Pharmacy in Winnipeg. I'm a clinical consultant pharmacist and wellness coach. We have my good friend, Mr. Willard Reeves, Winnipeg Blue Bomber Hall of Famer, on with me tonight. Mr. Non do pass on vacation somewhere, so he's taking a break and well-deserved break. How are you doing, Willard?
I'm doing excellent, Dennis. How are you?
I am good. I am good. Today's being the day after the long weekend. It was a little bit busy at work, and you got stressed a little bit, but I try to manage it and trying to keep it calm so that I can get through what I need to. And
Yes.
that's the big issue is that in day-to-day life we have to learn to manage these stress properly so that it won't become a chronic stress and it will not start affecting your health and your body function. And
Yes.
so we've been talking about different area that stress affects, so I figured that tonight we'll touch on this big area uh, that are hormones and how our body work with the hormones and how the stress, chronic stress especially, can affect the hormone symphony and hormone balance.
Okay. So, will that, of course, that includes the ladies as well, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
They are they have the most complex system, and our body, either woman or man, we have these hormones that our body is complex, that always trying to balance it, always keep it in equilibrium.
Right.
But when you have a chronic stress, that things just you know go haywire. And so tonight my thought process is that we should talk about how the hormones are working in uh women and then men, and how hormone imbalance that caused by chronic stress affect either
Your
man or
everyday
woman.
life. Yes.
Yeah, exactly how what happened to their life. And for female, like there's a lot of people say, I'm perimenopausal, I'm
Yes.
worried about menopausal symptoms. And you have to understand, if you understand why you get some people get more menopausal symptom compared to others. And
Hmm.
if you understand that, then I think proactively, and our goal, both of us, is preventative, right?
Yes.
So understanding how this chronic stress can throw off your hormone symphony and balance, and now causing more symptoms when you get into menopause.
Hmm.
If you can learn that and you can start working at it, a little bit at a time, ahead of time, so when you get to menopause, then you're not going to be you know having all these major symptoms. You may or may not get symptom, but if you do, if you proactively uh, consciously work at it and manage at it, then you will have a less symptom than other people.
Okay. When you're talking about working at it, and I guess this is the coping mechanisms that you're referring to.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. So what I wanted to kind of say is, do is just general idea of how female hormone works,
Okay.
and then how the stress affect, and then we can discuss. And you have a lot of different coping mechanism, being a professional athletes, and
Yes.
they've trained you, they've share with you. And so we can discuss about all these different coping mechanism, that what we should do, why how we should do it. Not one thing for everybody, but I'm sure there's a few different things that you and I do for ourselves, and we can share that, and hopefully that can help people.
Yes.
So
I agree. That's a good idea.
for the female, we heard a lot more about women having menopausal symptoms. You don't hear a lot about men, because two things: men don't want to talk about it, and second thing, men kind of ignore that, saying, I'm a man, I can handle it, that's whatever. And they just, you know,
A
sort
total
of
wreck.
super, yeah. And then they became total wreck. And I've
Yeah.
seen that. When I talk about men's side, I'm going to share some of the things that I've seen. So
Okay.
for the female, understanding how the hormone works and how the hormone balance, that will give you better idea of when you get to the menopause area, perimenopause area, how you're going to balance it and how you're going to manage it and how you're going to cope with it. So the key hormone balance in female is estrogen and progesterone. They have to be certain ratio, certain balance. And
Okay.
when they were, younger, as they became quote unquote adult female, when hormones are like fully producing all of that,
Okay.
majority of the female hormones are produced when they ovulate from the ovary. Like when they
Right.
ovulate, then that's hormone, estrogen production and progesterone production happen.
Okay.
And at that time, their adrenal gland, I'm going to talk about adrenal gland because the stress is a huge thing. At that time, the adrenal gland job is to produce cortisol, which is a stress hormone, and to
Okay.
manage the stress response, fight or flight. And so adrenaline, noradrenaline, and cortisol is the main thing that adrenal gland produce for the female, for the woman.
Okay.
And
So go
yeah,
ahead.
and so as time goes on, there's some time that testosterone is also produced through the part of it is produced through the adrenal gland.
Okay.
And if they have proper stress management, like if they have stress and then they get proper sleep, etc., and they don't get overstressed and they can recover, then the body will just balance that nicely.
So is the body producing more different types of hormones in terms of when we're talking about imbalance?
Yeah,
So when it becomes imbalance, is this what we're talking about where
yeah,
the
that's what would
stress
it's
comes?
right. So estrogen and progesterone, unless there's a environmental factor that coming in,
Okay.
not a lot of women will have imbalance of production. There's specific disease condition, etc. Some people will have it, but in generally, it's always the body's complex and always keeping that balance.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you have chronic stress.
Okay.
So what happens is when you have chronic stress, your body trying to make more cortisol because cortisol does a few things when under stress.
Okay.
Cortisol making sure that you're producing enough energy by increasing the sugar level in your blood stream.
Okay.
And at the same time, cortisol is the same as a hydrocortisone. It's a steroid. And so
Oh,
it's actually trying to reduce the inflammation if in case during the fight or flight that you get injured.
okay.
So
Wow. Go ahead. Go
that's
ahead.
the key thing for the cortisol during the stress time.
Oh, wow. So your diet, I guess, will play a little part in that as well because you mentioned about the sugar, right?
Absolutely. You
And
got it right.
so if that's imbalanced, then um, we have a problem, right?
Mhm.
Pretty much.
And when that happened, because your body want more sugar during the fight or flight for the
Right.
quick energy, then it's gonna have a carbohydrate craving,
Oh,
right?
so
People
you're
have a yeah, people have the carbohydrate craving when they're under chronic stress because the body is demanding quick
that's
sugar. This is when you have to consciously eat more protein because protein will not spike the sugar. Protein will still give enough steady
energy.
fuel for the body to burn
Okay.
and it will not spike that sugar. But if you give in for the craving for carbohydrate, then your sugar's going to spike. And that's where, in the long run, you start seeing type 2 diabetes.
Oh, okay. So
And,
there's an adverse. Okay, there's an adverse
Yeah,
effect on any
affect.
of it.
Oh, absolutely. And that's sort of the tip of the iceberg. But
Okay,
for the hormone side, for our body to make cortisol, the precursor is progesterone.
okay.
So that's where the imbalance come in. When the body's trying to make cortisol, it's gonna take more progesterone to make more cortisol. But if our natural production is not increased, the progesterone production, your estrogen progesterone balance will then go out of whack because your progesterone level gonna go down because making more cortisol. Meantime, nothing is taking away the estrogen.
Oh, oh,
So that's when you see a lot of female as they get into perimenopausal, they gain more fat because estrogen dominant.
hmm.
Estrogen increase the fat production, fat cell production. So
And
even
that's
though
holding.
in
Go
yeah,
ahead.
exactly. Even though for some women, like they are not making more estrogen than normal, but because progesterone level went down because of the stress making more cortisol, now the body feel like she got more estrogen. And so then you're going to have these excessive estrogen symptom of fat holding, fat building, and at the same time they're going to have issue with the period and stuff because there's no proper balance there anymore. So the uterus lining, all of that change, and they're going to get all these symptoms. And people will say, oh, you know what, I'm getting hot flashes because hormone imbalance. Hormone imbalance is one thing that create the hot flashes. The main thing, 70% of the hot flashes is the fight
Hmm.
or flight.
So, see, my wife is going through menopause right
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
and you're talking about the hot flashes. That is,
Hmm.
uh, it's amazing. I mean, I can be looking at her one minute, and next thing you know, she's just
Sweating.
flush,
Yeah.
sweating and stuff.
Yeah.
So if you're if I'm hearing this right, that could be causes of in terms of the hot flashes itself could be more about the sugar that she's taking into it, the extra sugar she's taking in. Is that
That
correct?
in itself, and also that her system went into fight or flight overdrive.
Right,
Because when you get into fight or flight, your body need to make more energy to either fight
right.
or run. And but when in a chronic stress situation, that control is not there properly. So the body will trying to make so much energy,
Okay.
burning, you know, fuel, carbohydrate, or sugar, and that producing so much heat.
Hmm.
And then the body trying to cool itself down, so vasodilate, blood pressure,
Okay.
blood vessel open up to cool it down to sweat it. So now they got the flashes, and then you're gonna see that they sweat. The sweat is
Okay.
our natural mechanism to cool our body down because our body is overheating
Okay.
from the fight or flight because our body temperature control is now with the chronic stress out of whack.
Okay. So she can get at one point she can be as as hot throwing covers off,
Yeah. The next one should be
all
really
can
cold.
and
Yeah.
next she'll be cold.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Because
that is
body
what's
then
going on.
trying to reduce that temperature down again overshot it, that it's not getting to normal, but body temperature get really low.
Right. Okay. All right. So
So, you
I
know,
have a lot to talk to her about.
absolutely tell her just when that happened. It's she's saying she's not stressed, but somehow her brain is, for
Telling her
whatever
she's
reason,
stressed.
saying it's stress,
She's
and I gotta
stressed.
fight or flight.
Okay.
So do a deep breath, some meditation to calming the brain down. And in this whole thing, the thyroid hormones got involved also because when we got too much cortisol, like
Hmm.
our thyroid hormone, thyroid gland makes uh, thyroid hormone called levothyroxine or T4
Okay.
in acronym form. And then when that T4, it's that is a not a active hormone as in actual giving you thyroid function. That is the precursor. T4 then get into our cell muscle cell. That's
Okay.
when that T4 get converted to something called T3. They take away one iodine out of it. That T3 is actually active thyroid hormone that help our muscle cell to produce energy.
So it's pretty much the brain's being tricked, is saying that I'm stressed, right?
Yeah,
I need to produce more estrogen and stuff, and
yeah,
now I'm starting to sweat. So this is where you're getting your cold. This is where you're getting
yeah.
the cold sweats when you're menopausing.
Right.
Oh,
And
okay,
with the thyroid, that T3 and T4 conversion, there's an enzyme that take away that one iodine from T4 to T3.
okay.
When you're under chronic stress and you got high cortisol,
Hmm.
cortisol inhibit or block the enzyme from converting of the T4 to
The
T3.
okay,
So now
makes
your
sense.
energy level go down,
Yeah.
you have fatigue, you have hypothyroidism, and at the same time, your estrogen is making you hold more fat and creating more fat.
Okay.
On the other side, the thyroid hormone cannot burn the fat because you're not making enough, converting enough T3. So
Oh,
it's a complex system that so and at the same time you're craving more carbohydrate. And if you give in and you eat more carbohydrate instead of eating protein and vegetables, you can really get into this, weight gain and fat gain, and you're just, set up for it.
oh, that is this. This is explaining a whole lot, especially with my wife, because she likes, especially with her cereal. She'll be sitting there, and all of a
Right.
sudden she start piling all the sugar into her cereal, and I said, "Why don't you have some cereal with your sugar?" Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she's putting so much in there. So
Right.
I'm starting to see the complete imbalance as
Yeah.
to why
It's
her hot flashes are so intense.
right, because the more sugar is also inflammation, right?
Yes.
The more sugar you put in, the body will have to burn it more, and the more it burn, the hot flashes and stuff happen. Because I work with a few lady recently, and after 3 months of working with them for lifestyle menu planning, all of that, then they came back and they told me, like, if they have a cocktail of certain type with more sugar,
Hmm.
when they go home at night, when they go to sleep, their hot flashes come back with a vengeance.
Yes.
But if
That
they don't have a sugary stuff, they're fine with it. So you're, absolutely right. But for your wife is that she's eating cereal and sugar and stuff because
yes.
subconsciously her stress is making her do that. But from your point of view, as gently and tactically get
As I
her,
can be.
yeah, get her more protein, or adding some protein to her breakfast and cereal and stuff,
Right.
right? Like cottage cheese
I'll
and
make that
fruit,
suggestion, but
right?
I doubt if she eats it.
I doubt that she eat cottage cheese, but you know your spouses, right? So
Yes.
you have to kind of work with that, and that's, I think, is part of our job as a spouse,
Right.
that understanding our partner and what's going on. And that's why I wanted to share this, because
Okay.
not a lot of people out there understand the whole hormone thing,
Okay.
especially on the female side. Like, there's a funny video that I saw on Facebook the other day, I think a couple of weeks ago, that the lady's complaining about headache, that she's having this chronic headache, and she's trying to just talk about it, want her husband to listen. But he's like, if we remove this, like she got a nail stuck to her forehead
Hmm.
and that causing headache. But she doesn't care. She just want him to listen to her. And she's like, "You always trying to solve the problem. You never listen to me." And he's like, "Yeah, if I remove that nail, your headache will be gone." She's like, "I don't care. I just want you to listen." So, we have to understand what they like and they don't like, and we have to kind of work with that. That's part of coping mechanism for the stress for that,
Okay.
right? So we have to not add extra stress saying, oh, because of this is happening. We have to kind of say, would you like to eat, some eggs or something or omelet I can make for you type of
Yes.
thing. And rather than, oh, you should eat eggs or you should eat protein so that, and they're like, you're trying to fix me, you know? So,
Well, I try to keep my wife out of the kitchen as much as I can, so I
well,
would do that. I would,
exactly, just say, "Hey, can I make your omelet
yes.
with your cereal?" And like both of us, we cook, right? So
Hmm.
kitchen is our domain, so
Yes.
we can play with it. And for any, man out there that, the wife's having some issue with perimenopausal or menopausal,
Oh,
you know,
yes.
look at this and do, a little bit of this kind of thing. And then the other thing is absolutely whatever that will calm them down, help them relax, right? Not saying, oh, shopping therapy is good for them, let them go shop. No, I'm not
No.
saying that. But, within the whole relationship, are we doing something that causing them more stress, like
Yes.
even after supper sometime I help put away the dishes,
Hmm.
whatever, that little thing they appreciate that,
Right.
and that actually reduce their stress because a lot of women are working outside at the same time as at home, so they got actually two jobs compared to
Right.
some of us. And so if we can help out a little bit here and there at home, like for you and me, we cook, you know,
Right.
that's a major stress releaser for my wife because she knows
You have
how to
to
cook.
worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a great cook, but she does not like cooking.
Ah,
And I'm
okay.
like, you know what? Don't worry about it. Cooking is my thing. But
Okay.
tonight we got home like, at the nick of time.
Right.
So I was trying to get ready and she just went into the kitchen and we know each other when we need to step in. And
Okay.
that's one of the key things that I think that will help reduce their stress.
Ah, okay. That's, boy, that makes more sense than ever before. I'm trying to figure out, what I can help her with because of her menopausal, and the
Right.
hot flashes that she get.
Yeah,
It's intense sometimes. It
it
really
is.
is. And
I heard some woman told me that they can get like 30 to 40 hot flashes at night and even daytime.
oh,
And imagine that, you can function
no.
because and the more you get it, the most you get stressed. The more you get stressed, the more hot flashes and stuff you get.
Hmm.
So, from our point of view, whatever we can do. And of course, we talk about food, protein and vegetables, loading that up to help with the stress side,
Hmm.
and doing breathing techniques or meditation or going out for a walk, whatever to help them relax. On
Right.
the other hand, there's also like I haven't really talked a lot about supplement and vitamins and stuff. Like vitamin B complex is a good supplement, basic supplement for supporting the stress and energy production. During
Okay.
the stress time, our body use up so much of the vitamin B complex. So supplementing were helpful. The other thing is magnesium.
Yes.
We don't think that magnesium that important, but in actual case, there's about 300 different enzyme function that magnesium involve in our body. And one of the thing is muscle relaxation. And second thing is energy production. So,
Right.
those two alone is really important because when we're stressed, our heart rate goes up. That use up a lot more magnesium,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
that use up a lot more energy, and the muscle has to produce more energy. So during the energy production, it's going to need more magnesium because
Okay.
magnesium is major part of energy production. So, knowing a couple of those things, and then, we tell people that drinking green tea or chamomile tea type of thing that
Yes.
calm you down. The green tea, because there is a nutrient called L-theanine amino acid in the green tea, that actually studies are shown that when you drink green tea or take L-theanine supplement, it's actually calm the cortisol spike
Okay.
and calm your brain down. And they've done the study with athletes that before they make them exercise an hour, they give them a green tea L-theanine extract supplement, and compared to other athletes that did not get the supplement, and then they measure the cortisol level, and the one who got the supplement, the cortisol levels are normal. The one who didn't get the supplement, the cortisol level spike.
Okay. Is that is that is it in ginseng as well?
No, it's not in
It's not.
ginseng. That's
Okay.
specifically in green tea.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
was the reason I was asking that is because when I played football, we'll get this ginseng, um, one of the players had ginseng
yeah,
and he would take it, all the
yeah.
time, and wow, I mean, he was really calm
Because
regardless.
because ginseng is another herbal supplement in Chinese medicine, and now in integrated medicine, that is what we call it adaptogen, that actually calm
Okay.
your adrenal down and
Oh, okay.
give you better focus. So for me, when I'm stressed, etc., I take a combination of ginseng supplement and
Okay.
the green tea extract, the L-theanine supplement. And
Right.
sometime I will take, like this morning, like I said, being after a long weekend, it was really busy at work this morning around 11 o'clock. I can't concentrate. I was kind of a little bit into like anxiety, saying, I got so many things to do. Am I going to finish it? So I
Okay.
decided, okay, I'm going
Uh,
to go take the L-theanine supplement. So I went and took my supplement and then had some, drink some water. And within half an hour, so I was able to calm down a little bit. And then I was able to concentrate better. I'm like, okay, I can do this. I got to do this first. Like I line up my stuff there.
okay.
Before was I'm like all over the place when I walked in because it was just so much.
Yeah, that's what I do too. I will take, if I have a lot to do, I would sit down, I would take a timeout, maybe 5 or 10 minutes,
Yeah,
and figure out what do I need to do first, right? And make sure
exactly.
I do that, deal with that task, then this task, this task. So it pretty much calms me down in a lot of ways. So that's how I kind of control my stress, especially when I know I'm under a time limit, so to speak, at work
Right.
or whatever it is. I would do it that way because it calms me. I can get it done efficiently, without um, you know, stressing about something else. That's not that I haven't dealt with at that particular time.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And everybody has different way of coping it.
Yes.
And the key thing is that you have to slow your brain down when we get into this kind of stressful situation. And then, like you said, take 5-10 minutes off. For me, is I will try to do deep breathing for
Hmm.
about at least 5 minutes if I can, and just stay away from everywhere, and then calm myself down, think about, okay, what I need to do next and
Hmm.
what I need to do after, set it up type of thing. So that after that, then I don't have to think about it. I
Correct.
just go and do one thing. And I know that when I finish, then I'm going to do the next thing. Until I finish it, I'm not going to think about the next thing
That's
because,
exactly how I
you
do it.
know, yeah,
Yeah.
otherwise just drive you nuts because you're worrying about, oh, I haven't finished this and I gotta do like 5 more things.
Yeah, that's
So
exactly what it is, because if I can't get to the last thing, I'll put that last thing until, maybe tomorrow or something like
yeah,
that and not
yeah,
worry about it.
exactly. Yeah,
So yeah,
and some people say, "Oh no, you can't do that." Well, you can, right? You prioritize
right.
the most, urgent thing you need to do, put it as the first thing, and go from there. The
Yeah,
last thing may be the most important one, but not urgent that you can, deal with it the next day. Like
right.
last Friday, I had a big new compounded formula that I have to create. I
Mhm.
got all the information that I needed to, but I have to do the big calculation, 3 o'clock. I told myself, you know what, this is important, but not urgent. If I do it right now, my brain is tired already. I'm
Mhm.
going to make the calculation error. So I said, I'm going to leave that until Tuesday.
Okay.
So this morning I went in. That was the first thing I said. I have to finish this right away. So that's how I started today because I left the important one. I wanted to get in with a clear head to be
Okay.
able to work at it properly.
That's a good way of looking at it and doing. I mean, I pretty much do the same thing when I have multitask that I need to complete at a certain time. So
Yeah,
I'll take the most important one and just work my way down from there. And I found that that has been working for me for years and years, even when I was playing professional football.
right,
Yeah, what do I need to work on? Earlier on, it was my catching. you know, uh, I do worry about it sometime when I was playing in my earlier years, and I started working on it, making sure that I got out and got a quarterback to throw me some balls, and making sure I
right,
can I can figure out how I need to do things, and later on, I got very good at it. Although I'd
right.
rather for them to hand me the ball and let me just run with it because I didn't have to worry about that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you don't have to worry about catching it.
yeah, 'cause some quarterbacks leave you out, leave you hanging, right? And you're reaching for
Right.
the ball, and all of a sudden, here comes somebody, and all of a sudden, crunch, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
make the
exactly.
highlight film.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, for any, female that listening to us or is going to listen to replay, look at it that all the hot flashes, 70% of the issue is underlying chronic stress. So making sure that you eat more protein and vegetables, doing some meditation or breathing exercise, and doing anything that reduce the stress and trying to focus and work in the moment. You
Mhm.
got to plan it, but you cannot worry about what's next. And I know that people say easier said than done. And you have to consciously train yourself. Like you said, initially you worry about, oh, am I going to catch the ball and am I going to have issue? But you keep practicing at it. And
Yes.
what I do the same thing is that, you know, I try to slow down and I'm always go, go, go. But I train myself over the years that, okay, there's time that I'm gonna go crazy, but what do I need to do to slow myself down?
Okay.
And you figured out the technique, you figured out the, you know, way to handle that. It's not gonna be overnight.
No.
We know that
Mhm.
especially that as a professional, football player, train and like that's what we call training, right?
Yes.
We gotta keep
It's a
learning
repetition.
something and
Yes.
repetition and make it good. And so, I have people that come to me and saying, "Oh, whatever you told me, I tried it, it didn't work."
Mhm.
How many days? 3 days. Well, no, it's not going to work, right?
Yes.
You have to do more than that. And studies are shown that if you do something consistently, at least for 21 days, that become a
Mhm.
habit.
Yes. And I agree
And
with that.
that's what that's what you want to do is, you're trying to change old habit into, replacing with a good and new habit.
Hmm.
And if you can do that, then it's going to be better in the long run.
I agree. I agree. I think it's just like what they're saying, practice make perfect,
Oh,
right? You know,
absolutely.
as a
Absolutely.
professional athlete, you're working on your weak points. You want to get better because by you working on your weak points, you enhances the team to be better at what they're doing because you make their lives a
Yeah,
lot easier because you're getting better at learning something that you were very weak in.
absolutely.
Hmm.
And so, that's sort of the female side of the hormone and stress. I want to touch on a bit on the male side because as men, like I said, mentioned it before, we don't like to talk about it. You know, we do as a man still get uh, something called andropause when we hit 40, 45, 50, depending on, again, female menopause time is 40 and, later, depending
Hmm.
on each person. Some people may hit menopause at 45, some may hit 50, 55. All depends on person to person. And the
Yes.
same thing for the male. There is something called andropause. What happened is that before the andropause, in the male, testosterone, we looked at it as testosterone as a key hormone for male.
Okay.
There is some balance with estrogen. Because people don't know that in men, our testosterone, the same as women, is convert from testosterone actually convert in female a lot more to estrogen.
Okay.
In male, it converts still a bit to estrogen. So we do have
Oh,
that's our emotional side. So some people may have more estrogen in men, other may have less estrogen in men. And that balance is key when you put men under chronic stress. There's a couple of things happen. Testosterone level most likely will go down for two main reasons. One, when we are under stress, our body actually make more protein called sex binding hormone globulin.
oh,
And that sex hormone binding globulin, what it does is it's actually hold on to the free testosterone and take it away from available testosterone. So now you feel that your testosterone level is low and your
okay,
libido may go down, your energy may go down, your muscle may not be as strong as you used to. And then a lot of male will go to their doctor and say, my muscles are weak. I don't have as much strength as I used to. I need testosterone.
right.
And I've seen that physician will prescribe testosterone and it does not work at all. Libido did not come back. The energy level did not come back. The fatigue did not improve. What happened is in some male, they got more aggressive, more angry,
Hmm.
and more abusive. Because what happened is, like I said, there's two things when chronic stress hit men. One is making this more protein to hold on to testosterone. The other thing is that testosterone get converted to something called DHT, which is another male hormone that is 10 times stronger than testosterone. That that DHT is a potential cause of male pattern baldness and male aggression.
Oh,
And that DHTS also potentially can cause prostate cancer.
oh, wow.
Yeah. So
So go ahead. Well,
stress can really kill you in male in that way. That's one way.
oh man. Okay, what about? Okay, we're talking about the testosterone in men.
Yeah.
Okay, now when they add steroids to this,
Hmm.
okay, now give me something so I can tell my friends who are on steroids. Um, it, is it good? Is it bad? Or what is it?
No, it's
Because I,
bad.
it's bad. Okay,
It's
I'm talking,
bad
it's bad for the liver
because
for one thing.
testosterone, the basis is steroid. When we in the sports and stuff, we use steroid as a general term,
Yes,
right? So what they are doing is they're using something called anabolic steroid
yes,
that to increase the muscle mass and muscle, strength type of thing. When you add that, it's actually potentially more harmful and potentially causing more cancer type issue because
uh,
anabolic mean growing, right?
yes,
So if you have some sort of like, I'm going to share this information that almost all of us has something called cancer stem cell,
yes.
all of us, and environmental trigger, all of that make that into cancer.
Hmm.
Not everybody get cancer. Only
Right.
certain people get cancer. We have not 100% figured out why, but we know that, pesticides, etc., trigger that. Some people will say, oh, because, pesticides cause the cell damage and whatever. On the other hand, we already have cancer stem cell. Pesticides just trigger that to grow. And if you have that kind of thing, you're not eating properly and you're not, careful with it, and you're using anabolic steroid, that can really trigger cancer,
Oh, wow.
right?
Yeah, I had
And
friends. Go ahead.
and
Go
you
ahead.
may see that people that using these anabolic steroid, they may be more aggressive, they may be more, uh, angry, quick trigger
Roid,
type of
call it
thing.
roid rage, as
Yeah,
we call it in the professional aspect of it, from
yeah, yeah,
bodybuilding and all
yeah,
this other stuff.
because those anabolic steroid is also driving more DHT.
Yeah, yeah, for your aggression.
Yeah, for your aggression.
Hmm.
So it's not a good thing at all.
Okay.
And later on, as you stop training and playing professionally, you're gonna start seeing, and that can also affect your liver, etc. Because you're putting these excessive amount of anabolic steroid in, the liver has to clear it. The
Yes.
body doesn't want it,
Uh, yeah.
so the liver has to work harder, and that's all come to. And if they are stressed, we talk about the gut not working properly, then the bowel movement's not there properly, then the whatever body is trying to get rid of these excessive steroid and stuff not getting eliminated because they may be constipated, they may not have a regular bowel movement because
Hmm.
of that stress, and all that come into play. And again, depending on what they're eating, right?
It is tremendous what stress actually does to a human body.
Hmm.
It's wow. Just thinking something outright putting stress on yourself can be a major problem for you.
Absolutely. Like for the man, like I said, we don't want to talk about it. We don't like to talk about it. We want to treat it. We want to have more testosterone. I have one patient that came to me about 13 years ago that the physician actually, I know the physician well and physician know what I do. So she said, you know what? I'm working with this gentleman for about 5 years, and testosterone dose is going up to like 400 milligram a day, which is super high
Yes.
even for a male. Like, 50 to 100 is pretty decent. If you go higher than 100, if it is 200, I'm telling the physician the dose is high
Hmm.
already. And this gentleman came to me with a 400 milligram of testosterone supplement a day.
Oh, wow.
And he's exhausted. He cannot talk at all. He cannot concentrate. And so I work with him for the like menu planning and stress management and all of that. And
Hmm.
took us a year. and gradually trying to reduce that testosterone supplement also. And we got it down to 50 milligram a day, and took us a year to work on his whole menu planning and sleep and all of that, stress management. And we got the energy and libido back.
Oh, okay. How's
And
his liver now?
his liver was good then
Okay.
because we detox it also throughout the year. And I load him up with a lot of vegetables and uh,
Good.
fibers, and also, good protein
Hmm.
throughout the day type of thing. And he's a East Indian gentleman. So I
Okay.
try to work with his sort of culture food, like, more chickpeas and turmerics and all of that. And so with that, after a year, his liver enzyme were good. His bowel movement was regular. His energy is back. Libido is back. He was sleeping better again. And then he actually, after 6 months, he started then talk to me. Initially, every time he come in, like he like I don't care attitude, because he
Okay.
have no energy, he can't focus, and he just like fix me. And after 6 months, then him and I start having conversation
Okay.
about different thing and his work and stress. And for him was, the culture
Hmm.
and the stress, because he's the first generation Canadian.
Right.
The parents born and raised in India, and he sort of came over with the parents and go through university and stuff. He's an engineer, and there's a lot of family culture expectation
Yes.
when he got married. I'm the breadwinner. I gotta have a family. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. And so all that, he actually pushed himself so much to
Must push himself to the limit.
limit, to show the parents that, hey, I'm a good son, I'm a good husband, and
Right.
you can be proud of me. And the wife saying, I don't care, you're sick,
Hmm.
nothing's matter because you're not there, right?
Right.
We as a husband and wife, you gotta be there when I need it. You just can't, provide food, whatever, and then, you know, you think that you're good.
Hmm.
You need to be able to communicate all of that. So the wife's like, you know what? I don't really care all the house and whatever that you provided. I appreciate it. But right now, because of this, you're sick. I need
Right.
to, help you heal. And so she and I actually walked like 6 months. Once a month we met, and she
Okay.
and I talk, and he's just there. And took us
Yeah.
6 months to get him into the whole conversation. And then when that happened, it got better and better. And after a year, he was so happy. He said, you know what? A lot of people, especially immigrant like us, the men need to know this. You know,
Yes.
we are so proud and we're so pushing to be get recognized and all of that, and to make sure that our parents are and our relatives are proud of who we are.
Right.
And sometimes that meant nothing.
Yeah. It's that pride thing that
Yeah,
that men go through.
exactly.
I'm the head of the household. I'm the breadwinner.
Hmm.
Nothing bothers me. I can handle my stress.
Right.
And the fact is, when you get them alone, they're not handling it at all, right? But
No,
they
no.
they're hiding it. They're
Yeah,
hiding it from their loved ones, and
yeah,
knowing the fact is, it's your loved ones who you need to lean on a little bit more when you're stressed. Um,
absolutely.
yeah. Huh.
Absolutely. And that's why, I wanted to bring this up, because
Hmm.
we as a man, we need to let people see our own emotional side,
Yes.
right? If we are not doing good, we should be willing to open up and get support from your spouse, from your wife, so that they can help you.
Yeah. Geez, I cry on a commercial sometime, but you know, I wear my, I wear my passion on my sleeve. I'm not afraid to tell a person that I'm not having a great time. I'm not
Yeah,
having, I'm having issues or something like that. I'm not afraid to tell my spouse or or my kids or whatever it is
you
that
shouldn't
I'm
be.
having an issue.
Yeah,
So yeah, so it it also helps my kids, which they do when they're
yeah,
having issues and
yeah,
stuff like that. They'll tell me. They'll
yeah.
tell me about it. They're not afraid to do it, because
You need, yeah,
I've done it. Yes.
yeah, exactly. You live by example. We learn by example, and
Yes.
we need to be able to talk about things like when you see on TV commercial, right? These young kid that having whatever issue, stress issue,
Mhm.
need to talk about it. If you don't
Yes.
talk about it, it's gonna build inside and then it's gonna explode.
Yeah. Next thing you
And
know, it's
doesn't
gonna
matter
explode.
male or female, everybody's handled differently, but
Mhm.
we need to be able to talk to our families and friends.
Yeah.
This is, that's why we got the family unit. That's why we have friends. When I came to Canada in '84,
Mhm.
totally different culture, totally different language.
Yes.
And it was very stressful until I got into pharmacy.
Right.
I'm grateful now looking back. Pharmacy was small faculty. There's only,
Okay.
in our class was only 50 of us.
Mhm.
And pretty soon we got to know each other. You can't be alone at all because small class, everybody's trying to, I was very quiet because new culture and stuff.
Right.
And some of my classmates started teasing me, bugging me, pulling. So I'm like, okay, I need to make friends and I need to learn stuff. Otherwise, I'm gonna go crazy. So I started
Yes.
going to, they invite me to these pharmacy event and stuff. I started going to all of that
Mhm.
so that I can be with others and I can be friend with others so I can have somebody that I can lean on.
Right.
And
Right.
so that is an important thing with the stress is that you need to be able to talk to somebody. And the same thing with the mental health, right?
Mhm.
All the helpline and stuff always talk about, you know what? Talk to somebody.
Yes. You have to do that,
You
and you
have to.
shouldn't be afraid to do
No,
that.
and that is one of the start of it. I know that some culture, some family is like, oh, you can't talk to your dad or you can talk to your mom or you're
Mhm.
so afraid to say anything. Uh, and that's how they grew up. And those people are the one that potentially get into these hormone imbalance and
Yes.
hot flashes and later on mental health issue because they were so restricted and they were so afraid of saying anything.
Yeah, because society has taught you, especially as a man,
Mhm.
to, keep it inside,
Yeah,
which was
yeah,
the wrong way of doing things. I mean,
absolutely.
I can remember back when I was a little kid, you know, and of course you had your father coming home and, you know, you think everything is chummy chummy because he's always laughing. He's already always smiling, but
Yeah,
those odd occasions when he comes home, he's not smiling. You want to know what's going on, right?
yeah,
Because something has changed.
right.
This time is coming in, and so you you want to know about it, but that's where you're talking about the ticking time bomb, right?
Mhm,
So
mhm,
you can be there at the wrong time, right? And all of a sudden that ticking time bomb goes off
right.
on you, and you
Yeah,
have no idea why.
why?
Because
Exactly.
men were taught back in those days to keep it in, to
Yep,
deal with it privately, as they put it.
absolutely.
Hmm.
We're not saying that tell everybody everything, but you have to have a channel that you need
Yes.
to be able to talk to, right? So if, you got a family unit, then your spouse says,
Yes.
from my point of view, everybody is different, but from my point of view, like I can talk to my wife about anything.
Yes.
And I need to for certain stuff because otherwise I know that I'm gonna get too stressed and that's it. I can't do anything anymore. I
Hmm.
don't want to be that point of taking time bomb that waiting to explode.
Hmm.
And the same thing with her. And but for younger people, etc., talk to your friend. There's
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody there that you are close to. Like
Yes.
my kid when they were younger, my son said, oh yeah, we among the friend we talk about this, that, etc. And when they were younger, they felt that, oh, maybe they can't talk to me because I'm too busy. So they talk to their friends. Now that
Right.
he's older, he told me about it and he said, you know what? It doesn't matter how busy I am. You have some issue that you need to discuss, come to me.
Yes.
If you cannot talk to your friends, and even after you talk to your friends, if you feel that you still need to talk to me, come to me. So everybody is a little bit different. Every family is a little bit different, but I hope and pray that, they feel the kids are feel comfortable to talking to the parents and the parents are feel comfortable to discuss some of these things, their own stress issue with their kids so that like you said, your dad come home and always smiling, whatever, but he's holding everything inside and you don't know when he explode
Exactly.
why it's that happen, right? So the kid need to understand everything, the whole family dynamic need to be there.
Yeah, you have to trust that person,
Yeah,
that you know that, you can go
yeah,
and talk about anything with him, and that he's gonna, he's gonna help you, deal with it, the way he has dealt
yeah,
with, some
yeah,
issues sometime. You can just bounce it off of each other. If, like I have a very, very good friend, his name is Alan
great,
Castell, and he's the one person that I can actually go to and talk about, things. If I can't talk about it with, a family member, or sometimes it's probably not family related, all right? But
great.
we bounce things off of each other once in a while, because we've been through a lot of things together. So um, that's what we call a very trusting best friend as
Absolutely.
well. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So like I said, we started, our title's Hormone Symphony, but y- a lot of people looked at it saying, oh, when we get into menopause or andropause, we have hormone imbalance issue.
Hmm.
But if we manage proactively, properly, especially the stress and, the food and nutrients and stuff, when you get into andropause or menopause, your symptom, if anything, should be mild.
Yes.
So that's why we talk about all these, coping mechanism, talking to people, meditating, eating a little bit more protein, and
Hmm.
etc. So
Okay.
I got my email address on there. If anybody have any question, definitely email me. And also, I have a 15 minutes complimentary strategy appointment that I've listed there. And from, of course, food point of view, the smoothie.
Mm.
You love the smoothie. I love the smoothie.
I
This is
love the
my
smoothies.
recipe that I use. You have your own recipe. So, if you want Willet's recipe, definitely comment and message us. And I'm sure he'll share that with you. He played with it for a few different way, a few different
Yes.
things. And there's, I'm sure, one or two different recipe that he would love to share with you. And I hope that the information that we provided are really good and, at least thought provoking.
Yes.
In 2 weeks, I got one of my early mentor, Dr. Bob Rakowski, coming on as a guest with us to discuss about concussion.
Yes.
He is a chiropractor, nutritionist out of Houston, Texas, and his early client were Evander Holyfield and Yao Ming, these professional, athletes. And right now, I know that he's currently working with Evander Holyfield's son, who's just into the professional boxing.
Mhm.
And so, and over the years, there's many things that he's done, and I've learned so many things. One of the things that I want to discuss with him, and we'll let as a professional football player,
Yes.
concussion is a huge thing, and he has actually treated many concussed patients
Mhm.
and being able to reverse, etc. So I'm hoping that we can get some pointer, if anything, prevention and then treatment point of view. So
Yes.
until in 2 weeks, we will see you again, and keep healthy.
Take care, everybody.